All right, this is Sethikus Boza with Black Earth Productions. Very early in the morning, in a very unique manifestation. I am speaking now with Lókja of the Völur, and we are here to share with all of you out there some things that have been developing in context and what the blue flame actually is. Remembering the ancient codes, bringing things back into alignment to bring more wisdom and proper knowledge to everyone that is listening here tonight. And so I want to thank you for coming on and doing this with me to dive deeper into the mysteries of the ancestors and everything that's unfolding right now in these moments.
You are most welcome, Sethikus, and thank you very much for having me on. It is an honor to be here and talking with someone who is aligning with the Urlog, who is living Drengr, unafraid to die. I'm doing very well. How are you?
Very good. Now, I sense you are a part of this as well. And like I've talked about, the wisdom councils are going to manifest again.
I encountered you first on one of Thunder Wizard's live chats, and I saw your name, and a few months ago, one of your movie video YouTube posts came up on the sidebar, and I clicked it, and it was like I got hit in the face. It was like I got spiritually jolted, and the only way to describe it is like really intense chi, like prana. It was full-bodied. It was so intense that it got me thinking, and I was like, well, what the fuck is this about? So I started watching your videos, and then puzzle pieces started falling into place for me. And then I started getting this deep connection with my ancestors, min föräldrar, talking to me about what was happening and what I needed to be doing. And this year, I think, has been insane in terms of transformation for me. I've been going through this trial since March 15. And similar to the path that you took, in that everything got taken away. Everything's just been tore off. My flesh is gone. I've been flayed. And figuring out how to pack back on what is necessary, reinvigorating the body in the sense of the vessel within Midgard, and just traveling on, I guess. That has really been the biggest thing. So for me, encountering your videos and a lot of the stuff that you're sharing, it's just been falling into place with what I'm working on. And it's bizarre. I'm just here studying and working and channeling and unpacking, and yet it's all happening elsewhere as well. So I don't know how to fucking describe that other than weird.
It's the Norns.
Yeah, it fucking is. It really is the Norns. It's the Disir.
I've learned the secret of the spindle.
Okay. Define for me what you talk about in terms of the spindle.
See, the Dark Ones stole this shit. It's not so much that they care about whether or not you know about what they're doing. Yggdrasil is the spindle of the true universal tree. It's a component fragmented off from an original holistic flow of how to travel the fucking universal tree.
Right.
So Yggdrasil is a reflection of the universal tree. I had a buddy of mine that is also a Seidr practitioner. He lives in the UK. But he was doing planetary correspondence with Yggdrasil, and then, of course, the mind, getting into what the true mind is. Because it's not enough to know about the spindle unless you know how to work with it yourself, and everybody's unique.
Yeah, 100%. Well, this is where we come in. This is where the Völur come in, because practicing Seidr is the lifeblood of what we do. And our working with the spindle comes in a very physical sense. The word völ, and the term vulva means wand-wed or staff-carrying woman, but the term staff, which is völ, is the same word in Old Norse from Proto-Germanic, which means horsecock. And the funny thing about that is that what is the name of the horse that Odin uses to travel to all 9 worlds is Sleipnir. So in sense, a Volva's staff, her Völ, is the the horse that she rides from world to world. So our spindle, in that sense, is physically manifested as our staff. And this is where that power for Seidr comes from. The way that it's channeled through, it's like an arcane focus for that. And I've been looking at that a lot recently. I mean, I have my stuff here sitting next to me. I have my book. And thinking a lot about where that is from, where that comes from, what that's led to, and how that has been taken away. Complete disempowerment of people from the manifested physical symbols of their ability to travel, their ability to see beyond this world. And that's been something that's been weighing on my mind a lot, and why I'm currently writing a lot about Seidr itself, and why I wanted to contact you and talk about it.
Mm-hmm. What's been your experience when you had your activation?
Well, when I was 3 years old, I communed with spirits of the woods, Landveiter. I talked with rocks and trees and water. I grew up in New Zealand, so very much the, idealized countryside and beautiful Lord of the Rings style atmosphere. That was very much what I experienced. And the spirits were very powerful. And early on, I allowed them to guide me. Because in Norse tradition, these spirits, the Landveiter, are the Alpha.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is one way they commune with us, is through nature. And this is why you have things like the Spindle as well. And I could get into that. But at the age of 4, they led me into this place in the woods. And they helped me to first experience Seidr. And I left my body. I traveled through my mind into Svartalfheimr, and I took into the body of a bird, and I flew with this bird around the woods. And I flew in the body of this bird for like 3 hours, 4 hours. I lost time completely. Mm-hmm. But I lived an entire lifetime in this animal. And then I came out of that and had questions, mm-hmm. And I started delving deeper into these things. But that was when it first unpacked. 2 years later, I meet Lókja, and then my whole life changes. So that was my first experience of Seidr. And yes, I know what you mean when you say I didn't want it, I didn't ask for it. Whether I wanted it or not, it happened.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it, but I'm also welcoming of it. I know that source energy, I know that myself beyond this human form, that I put in place, that I put in play for me. Whether that was through skuld or karma or, my urlog, whatever it was, that was necessary. So that was my first experience of Seidr. But true Seidr, voluntary, ritual, I've been doing that for years, probably 8, 9. Because then it starts getting complex. Then we start thinking about things like lucid dreaming and astral projection and what we consider those things to be, or what we're fed in terms of the meaning of that by modern, spiritual appropriation. What's your experience of Seidr? I would like to know.
I wouldn't say. Year 2000, about 17 years ago, is when the first activation of my shamanic initiation, what I was thrown into, happens. Mm-hmm. And my very first memory I can recall now, because I've been able to journey back to that moment when I first came into waking consciousness in this life. I was an infant, and I opened my eyes fully aware of myself, my environment, everything. And then just like right now, the same feeling. And I remember I said to myself, oh, I'm back.
Yes. Yes.
I said, oh, I'm back. And I was an infant. And I was fully aware of what was happening. I didn't know fully that I was in my infant form. But all that I was present with me.
Yeah.
So there was shit that happened to me, though. I was targeted because of who I am, because of my lineage. This is my blood code lineage. It's not just because I'm Nordic and I'm into the mythos, because I'm a Dane or whatever. This is literally my blood code lineage, directly connected to one of the shamanic bloodlines going back 40,000 to 300,000 years. This is memories that have come back to me, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't know why I was experiencing what I was back in the year 2000, but I went into the trauma of everything that's happened. And I mean, I've had battles with sorcerers. I had the Temple of Set on my fucking ass last year. And they were doing rituals. I had a friend of mine that was fucking murdered. This shit's very fucking real when it comes to the brotherhoods, because everything on the highest levels in this reality field goes back to the brotherhoods. I'm not some researcher. I'm not doing this for entertainment. This is fucking real, and I'm a player on the fucking field. The dark ones have lost their jurisdiction.
Yeah, I'm well aware of that. The problem I'm seeing is that everyone's a player, and yet people don't know the fucking rules.
Right, and they don't know who they are.
Yeah, that's the biggest point, is that they're playing characters that they're never meant to be. And they're fucking playing around lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. And it's not getting them anywhere. They're just lost in this feedback loop that you said. It's a great term. And that's a very interesting point of Seidr that you bring up there, because it's so intense that you can see why people run. I can fucking understand it. I completely understand it. But I had similar activations as well. When I was 5 or 6 years old, I met Lókja, and he basically said, do you want to know? I give you an option. I give you a choice. Do you want to know? And I said, yeah. And then I went through 9 years of hell. I had 7 of my friends killed.
Right.
I became a drug dealer, a drug addict. I was a criminal. I was in juvie. I was robbing houses. I was practicing very, very dark magic. I was astral projecting to places I shouldn't have gone. I did things I never should have done. And throughout all of that, I learned to go after what I thought I wanted. I followed my, tantra path of solving my desires and my illusions and my attachments and all the things that I thought were the game. And then I came to realize they were just mini games, really. I came to realize it was all fallacy. And then it hit me. I went through that proper shamanic experience. I basically had Kundalini psychosis first. I went fucking mad. I was insane for about 3 months. I couldn't move. I would look at something, and that thing, that atom, that piece of matter would fight me. It would say, fuck you. It would just not, I had no willpower for about 3 months.
Right.
And after going through all these experiences, I calmed everything. I got rid of all my beliefs that weren't suiting me. I basically was naked, and I had to rebuild. And when I did, one of the first things I started doing was practicing in a pure way Seidr and what I was capable of doing. And I had ridiculous psychic abilities. I had telepathy. I had mind reading. I was able to look at people and know how they would die. And not all the time was it nice. I didn't want to see that shit, but it was teaching me.
I pick up on weird shit. I don't even want to fucking see something.
Yeah, 100%.
And then you're getting this coming into your radar, depending on what your disposition is, because the moon is very important. It's the roots of your tree, astropsychologically speaking. So it's not how the mind works, is because the true mind isn't the moon, even though a lot of astrologers out there say it's the mind. I call it the radar of the mind, because thought and emotion, like Odin's crows. When he sent out the crows to be able to pierce the 9 worlds, as he's traveling, thought and emotion, thought and memory have been fucked with, because the soil of the tree is planted in a toxic, poisonous field.
Not only that, but this is something interesting, that the waters of Mimir, which are beneath the tree of Yggdrasil, are being siphoned, completely diverted, like in a fucking dam. And then it's being drip fed out into various worlds.
And that's getting into the higher occult sciences that I practice. This is how they're harvesting essence. This is how they're harvesting genetics and consciousness for specific agendas that are plaguing people that don't have any fucking idea what's going on. And so you talk about Lókja, your experience with Lókja, and you went through 9 fucking years of just fucked up shit. Fuck Lókja. Okay, and I know Lókja. I know Lókja, and I understand his disposition. He's a bit insane.
Look, I completely agree with you. I love and respect Lókja, but dealing with him is like dealing with a bag of fucking scorpions. You know you're going to get stung. There's no way around it, and there's no bargaining, no reasoning. Either you pick it up or run with it, or you don't. And it's not fun. And I think that Rahu is very useful for certain points, but there's a time and a place for that energy.
Because right now, where things are at, it's a major time of healing.
Oh yeah, Mother Hela, healing. It is very beautiful what is going on right now. Hellheimer, the gates of hell are open for us to go and receive that bountiful healing of Mother Earth. And it's terrifying, but it's so necessary.
In the shadow is hidden the true gift.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, the Seidr, I went through Seidr. I did a ritual practice last weekend. And I had the most profound experience of my life. And this keeps happening. Every day I'm experiencing something more soul empowering than the last day. And in my Seidr, I journeyed to her. I asked for guidance and I met Mother Hela, and it was the most terrifying thing I've ever felt. Because for me, in that kind of Seidr, that ritual Seidr, I am, in a sense, as a vulva, offering my body freely to be a vessel to channel that spiritual energy, to channel that force of the macrocosm through this microcosm. So when this is viewed by people, this is where you get those messages and that channeling, like in Voluspa, where the vulva tells Odin of all these things. She's channeling a lot of that from hell itself.
The thing with that, it's interesting. In context, the divine feminine force has been the most targeted because of the power that she truly holds, and that's what the dark ones fear the most.
Oh yeah.
So they like to demonize certain things when it comes to the mythos, when everything is actually neutral. Even Loki, he's there to show you, basically, if you go too far with that state of mind, this is going to be the fucking result.
Yeah, he puts you in his shoes and goes, this is where you'll be. I love that about him, though. It's horrible, but I love that about him. And you're very right about demonization. I mean, if you look at the world today, if you look at femininity, what has it become? It's been distilled, and it's so disempowered because of that. This is why our ancestors, the Proto-Germanic people...
Right, like made into an object.
Yeah, our ancestors worshipped the Disir. And the Disir, as I'm starting to learn, is the original mother goddess. And in your video, Awakening the Ancestral Codes, with Michael William Denny, he brings up the realization of that cave. The cave in which there were the humans, our ancestors, Min Foreldra, the Alfar, who believed they were spiritual beings, not physical beings. And in that cave, they had found and carved that beautiful, buxom figure of the mother goddess. That is the Disir. And that is signified in every feminine deity. This is what we're lacking now. And the type of Seidr that we need to do now is connected to those roots. I want to show you symbols and things that I have with me. Bind runes and images and things that I've been shown over and over and over again my whole life that are leading me down this path. I want to talk to you about what I have learned, what I need to unpack for you, and what I'm currently doing. Because this is very, very big in the sense of the potential there to not only recreate, but expand upon, to build more of. Because nothing's ever finished. Nothing's ever finished. And I'm really excited about this. As you know, Seidr, or as some people may pronounce it, Seid, is very misunderstood, particularly in our folk, in those who are reviving and those who are waking up now, or those who have, downloaded some things. But it's a very popular aspect of Norse magical practice. It's often diluted by modern mainstream heathenry or asatru, which in many cases fails to understand the significance of this sorcery, which, as with all ethnic cultures, bears its roots in that animistic worldview, the view of the goddess, the view of Father Sky, Mother Earth, very traditional ethnic animism. And through the Norse myths, particularly the Eddas and the sagas, primarily Voluspa, Yngling Saga, and Lókja, there are countless examples of Seidr, as you well know. And there's a variety of uses. It's not just, to label it simply as shamanism is to take away a lot of the potential therein. To say that Seidr is just shamanic journey takes away a lot of its power, because Seidr is the wielding of feminine power of the Disir. Now, with the Christian transformation of culture in Northern Europe, the art of Seidr has been truly lost to time and doubt. However, modern-day scholars and reconstructionists are trying to use it in a contemporary manner. A lot of people are trying to liken it to certain acts. The one that is the most close in terms of journeying, if they're summoning a particular deity, they may act like them. But that is only a minor aspect. We really have to be mindful not to enforce our own imaginative concepts onto ancient magical rites and the practice of the spirit of the Disir, which is being handed to our folk in the now. And I'm recreating this almost from the ground up whilst taking things from other Seidr practitioners over the world and trying to identify it. I think it's really important we are clear about it. I am fucking sick of things being hidden. I am sick of people keeping the shit to themselves. And I want to discuss it. So, first I want to look at the possible origins for the misunderstood word Seidr. I want to explore the linguistic roots etymologically. I want to take us back to that time and look at the mindset of the people who are using this. So, Proto-Germanic, Norse people, even the Proto-Indo-Europeans sometime before, when you're talking about 40,000-year lineage, that's where I'm going with this. So in the modern-day Norwegian bokmål, the word Seidr translates as seething or boiling. And this is one common aspect of the understanding of Seidr, as you know, which is nearly identical in pronunciation to the familiar Old Norse word Seidr, so S-E-I-T-H or the D-R, and that's the traditional word I'm going to be using. Pronounced in English as Seidr, which translates as cord, string, or snare. And this obviously harkens to cords upon the web of weird. The cords woven in the spindle by the Norns, Urd, Verthandi, and Shult. We are bending them, we are pulling them, we are moving them from people to people, in some cases breaking them. This is why Seidr is so powerful. And this is why the feminine energy can work with that web. So, closely related, that word Seidr, S-E-I-T-H-R, is very closely translated and related to the Old Norse word Sjöda, so S-J-O-E-D-A. And this is pronounced in English as Sjörða. So here we see two connections. We see one understanding that this first word, Seidr, and Sjöda mean different things, but they are also combining into one ultimate meaning. This goes further, because the more we go back, the more we realize they have taken all these concepts of different words and they have combined them into one, meaning an ultimate kind of practice, something inexplicable that combines aspects of all of those things. And this is why etymologically, even linguistically, Seidr has more than one meaning. So there are several Proto-Germanic root words which help to clearly relate these two words even further. The first is Sveithanan in Proto-Germanic. This is pronounced Sveithanan, it's spelled S-E-U-T-H-A-N-A-N. But an earlier word, the Proto-Germanic word, which was very difficult for me to find, is spelled S-A-E-T-H-A. And this is pronounced Seitha and translates as seed, S-E-E-D.
All is within the seed.
That's exactly right. And the seed of what? The seed of Yggdrasil, the seed of the universe. You are the seed. It even comes from old Proto-Germanic root words as sitte, in Old Norse then seite, which means to sit out. And this was a common practice in Finland and Sweden and even Denmark as well, where one would go and sit in nature and meditate. And this would be an aspect of Seidr as well. Mm-hmm. So we have four major definitions. Well, you have the seed, you have the boiling or seething, you have the cord, and you have sitting. So what does this all mean? It means, well, to practice Seidr, or an aspect of the highest degree of Seidr, is to sit, to cast a cord upon the web of weird, to seethe and to boil, becoming that seed of Yggdrasil. So the way that I define Seidr is sitting upon the web of weird. When you practice Seidr, you are sitting on the web of weird. And 6 months ago, I met Odin. And Odin...
Share with me your experience with Odin.
Okay, I will.
Because Odin has come to me too and confirmed a lot. So, yes, okay. Please.
I will tell you. I was dreaming, and I was in a dream state where I thought, you know, I'm aware, I'm awake, I'm conscious, just lucid. And in this state, I felt like a child. In fact, I was a child. I was hairless, I was a child, I was walking in little robes through a beautiful forest. And all of a sudden I felt this hand, a big gruff hand with some sort of filament upon it. And I didn't even react because I felt this sense of calm. And I looked up and I saw a large man in a hood and a cowl walking next to me holding my hand. Didn't say anything, didn't feel anything. I just accepted it and kept walking. And suddenly we veered off the path together and we stood in front of many trees. And he took his hand from mine, looked down the pathway through the trees, and he took his hands like this. He spread them out wide. And I saw that on his hands, he had bracelets around his wrists, very similar to this arm ring that I'm wearing. Very similar to this. And from that bracelet, he had 9 cords of woven horsehair from the tip of the bracelet to the tip of the finger. He had 5 on his left hand and he had 4 on his right. And he clapped his hands together and he drew the cords like this. And in front of us, this gateway just opened. Wow. And into it, I saw space. And I was not afraid because in that moment, I knew who that was. And so I laughed and I walked with him. He put his hand on my back and we walked into this gate. And then we fell. We fell through voices, we fell through winds, we fell through dreams, we fell through worlds. I had everything I could possibly imagine flew past me. And when I woke, it was like I was asleep. It was like I fell asleep again, or I died. I can't tell which. But when I woke, I was formless. And I was sitting upon the web of weird. And the only way I can fucking describe that was like between 3 very distinct energies that were all around me, above me and below and within me, but 3 very distinct energies, and I could shift between them. And what happened was this. Odin took me there to show me how I could use Seidr moving forward, and which I've done many times. He allowed me to see a crux moment in my life when I decided to follow my Urlok, when I lived drengskaper, when I was unafraid. And this was a moment when I gave everything up in lieu of following my desire, my deepest soul desire. And when that changed my life and set me on the course that I'm on now. And he showed me all the timelines, the 3 major timelines anyway. Okay. The Vartandi, Shuld, and Urd. He showed me what was happening currently with me in every form. And so first I saw myself now, and I saw myself with what was happening, and it was sort of like, I don't know how to describe it. It was like a Christmas tale. It was like I was watching myself in a formless being, just experiencing that. It was like I was my higher self. I can't even get into it, but I saw myself in this experience, and that was fine. This was the linchpin for me leaving behind my life in New Zealand. This moment, he showed me my future, so my potential from that, and he showed me my past from that. He showed me what brought me through all those things. And in my future, I saw myself and going to university and studying the gods, doing things like Heilung and Vadruna. I saw that, I felt it, I watched myself doing these things. And it was amazing. And it amazed me because in every path, you know, I was finding my Urlok, I was finding and aligning myself with my soul desire. So that made me very happy. And then I wanted to see what would have happened in my past. So I looked through that again. And I went down the path of not shamanically experiencing this and going into the realm of chaos and craziness and abuse and putting myself through more of the hell of drugs that I did. I became an addict. I moved to a remote part of New Zealand. I started dealing very heavy drugs. And I watched myself wandering around dead, trying to perform rituals, trying to do this magic. Before I died, I was doing all this, you know, satanic shit. So in the past, I'm dead. In the future, I'm a priest. And this is an aspect of why I'm now working with Mother Hela, why I'm doing all these things. But that was my experience of Odin. He didn't say a word to me. He just took me by the hands and walked me through a gate, and that's it.
Odin came to me close to a year and a half ago, and I didn't invoke him. It just happened, and this is, I started to feel my blood codes activate. I went through that 20-year initiation with the melatonin, with my mother's bloodline, burning through that, getting into the Tuatha and the Druids. But about a year and a half ago, everything flipped over to the blood codes, and the melatonin is the mother's bloodline that you have to work with and work through, you know, catching up soul cycles.
Okay.
And the father's bloodline is the actual blood. And my father was fucking Viking. I remember him talking about this shit when I was a kid. He was kind of obsessed. And my parents used to go folk dancing when I was a kid. That type of music that I'm putting into a lot of my videos now.
Yeah.
But even back then, there was something very nostalgic. I was into dark magic when I was younger. And then came the real initiation into this.
Which is harder.
Fuck, man. This is why I've kind of sealed that off so that nobody can pick up on that. If anyone was to pick up on that with me and actually see what I experienced, this is the shit going all the way back to when the major shit went down with the Brotherhoods.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and the betrayals, and then fucking they opened up fucking wormholes, and then fucking
talk about skeletons in the closet.
You could take it back to the mythos, but I believe that Odin came to me because, well, other people have told me I am a son of Odin, and the sons of Odin are fucking magicians. We know how shit fucking works, and I knew this stuff when I was a kid.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's always been, I was always drawn to it, but you're blanketed over with all this fucking religion, right? I've died many, many fucking deaths. I remember going through Seidr activation, because it's not only women that
I know.
But see, during the Viking Age, there was a stigma. They were, you know, dealing with the fucking Inquisitions and shit like that. And see, a lot of people don't understand this history as well. Our people were provoked. We didn't just go raid. We didn't just go fucking murder and pillage. We were trying to keep our fucking shit intact. While the fucking virus of this dark Luciferian cult, which all goes back to the Brotherhood of the Snake. See, so many fucking people, man. Even the stuff that they put out there, man, it is not what the fuck is really going on. It's a little bit, and then it plays on the codes.
It's that siphoning of the well of Mimir. It's that wisdom. It's drip fed. And
right.
It's like, it's just fucking disgusting. There's a lot of things there you just said I want to touch base with.
Mm-hmm.
Firstly, the term of ergi. Very, very interesting to know about. It was not only because, yes, the men would go out and they would spend time with the women all the time and they'd be talking to trees and rocks and that as well, but it was also the voluntary practice of surrendering the body. Which to a Viking, to a male Viking, is why would you fucking ever do that? No.
Right, but see, what they didn't catch though is that this is what happened with the Ulfanar. Yeah. And I am fucking Ulfanar.
Yeah, you are.
That fucking power is so unbelievably fucking terrifying.
Yeah, I know.
I was going through some activations earlier this fucking year for about 3 months, and it's interesting. It was around the time you said that you were having your experience, and so I think this is happening with certain individuals across the fucking board.
So many people. So many people.
For me personally, this is direct bloodline lineage shit. This is just it's fucking, you know, in my fucking bones.
Yeah.
So getting activated with that, say it's fucking it's violent, and you do have to fucking embrace it, because if you resist it, you could fucking die.
The power of the Ulfanar that you just mentioned, I know it very well, because one of the things is that, like, Odin has been guiding me. Odin has been guiding me since I was 7, 8 at least. Loki led me to him, and this is very correct when you look at my Aruda life map, my Vedic chart. Jupiter, Rahu, Venus. So you have Odin, his throne is being sat on by Venus, and Rahu is wandering around the courtroom. And this is me, this is my life, this is my body, you know. And what's happened is, when I was very young, Odin started leading me to places. And one of the places he led me, and I would release this energy of Odin. I would full berserker. Now, I want to talk to you about bloodline here. When you talk about bloodline lineage, Lókja is not my real surname. I'll explain why. My real surname that I was born with was de Boer. De Boer in the Dutch means the farmer. I come from a long lineage of Vikings who moved to Holland and who were part of the Berserker gang as war pigs. It's very real and very intense. The boar, the wolf, the raven, you had, the bear, and all of these would work together. And to this day, there is a military tactic in which you invoke the power of the boar, and it comes from the word sverkerin, and it means basically the boar warrior. And that is my ancestry. One thing that I want to mention right now is something that I do need to talk to you about, because I've heard you bring it up in other videos. Okay. Now, I respect and honor you, but even more, I respect and honor the truth. And I need to tell you this. I was born male, but for the sake of my spiritual path, my Urlok, this soul activation, everything that I'm going through, I'm changing my hammer. This is hamask. This is what our ancestors did, some of them, who were not afraid to be ergi, even if they knew they had to be drenger. They were living fearlessly. And my ancestors are fucking proud of me for doing this. But I have heard you mention this in past videos, and you know what? I fucking agree with you. I know there are a lot of chaotic people out there who are being influenced by dark forces. There is so much chaos in the world. Men changing into women, women changing into men.
Yeah.
They are only getting a piece of the puzzle. They're getting drip fed. And they're losing themselves in this lack of soul, lack of understanding. It's just more self-identity based bullshit.
Right.
But a lot of people are poisoning themselves. They're consumed with that misunderstanding of divine feminine, divine masculine, what I believe to be divine neutral. There are agendas out there that are pushing this on people. And you've mentioned the Venus cults. I fucking know that. I see that,
The divine feminine has been targeted because it's the womb. I don't know if you know who Michael Tsarion is, but he talks about the female Illuminati, and this is like a sorceress priest class.
Oh, yeah, well, that's what I'm saying with the cult of Venus, dude. That is it.
This is very wicked, man.
Yeah. This is the other thing I wanted to talk to you about. When Thunder Wizard and you were talking about some of these things, it sort of drew me to this point of learning what was going on with me in past lives. And one of the things that I do, even as a Völur, is I work with people one-on-ones and in couples, and I give them shamanic therapy, essentially. I help them with energy work, I work with their chakras, I do cleansing, I do enchanting for them, whatever it is they need. And I had some people over, I was helping them. And in return for helping them, I must have triggered some karmic, some shuld, some weird experience, releasing the power of being berserker. I was nuts. I was scaring the shit out of people. I've made people lose their minds, and I'm not proud of it.
Right.
But that's me. That's me when I was very young and getting really dark and into, murder and homicide. And I was driven to that edge. I was older. I was driven to that edge of, releasing it fully. I shouldn't be here. I should be dead. So when you say you've been through stuff, I have to.
Right.
Odin has guided me through many things, and many of the things he does is he helps me to find people that I have a connection with for the sake of myself and them, empowering me and them in alignment of my Urlok and all those things. And recently, I had an experience with some friends 3 months ago, almost to the day. They came to me for help, I started talking with them, and then I felt Thor come to me, and he basically offered me something, equal exchange of energy. And I don't really work a lot with Thor. But he came to me and he said, give them your Mjolnir. And I wear this every day. I haven't taken it off for 3 years. It's iron from Norway. I never take it off. And I gave it to this guy who was going through all this shit. And the moment that he left, Seidr just descended on me. I was sitting there with this girl and we were talking about what had just happened, and I got struck with Seidr. I went into a full past life regression. I was having a vision, a full-on vision. Because I shit you not, in the year 1100 AD, whenever it was 9 lifetimes before this one. I was cisgendered, I was born female, and I was practicing my craft. I would have been mid-age, 40 plus. Mm-hmm. And it was a time of war between Proto-Germanic tribes. They were warring over land, and I was serving as a Volva. I was serving these 3 people. I'd settled down, I had a little house, and they came to me and said, you know, you need to fucking pick a side. Now is the time you pick a side, because you can't be helping everyone else. And because I was entirely feminine, I surrendered to the power of the feminine. I had no masculine grounding. I was chaotic completely. And I fell in love with this guy who was the son of the chief. And I sided with them, even though I knew their intentions were poor. And I went with them in destroying their enemies. And the way that they asked me to do it was very particular. I went to the rivers. I went to the lakes. I poisoned the fish and killed the waters. I burned their crops. I blighted them. I slaughtered their cattle, and I gave them disease. And I killed thousands of people. And when this tribe that I was working with saw what I had done with my Seidr, by taking the cords of the web of weird, by rearranging the elements of time, by making the Schuld the Verdandi, the present, or the future the present, by bringing death to all things, and by changing the cords on the web of weird with Seidr, I killed these things. And when they saw what I had done, they were fucking terrified, so they killed me. They flayed me and burned me alive. They took all my philia, my nader philia, my snakes, they burned them too. And then I went through and saw all the karma and all the repercussions of that choice throughout all the lifetimes I have lived before this one. When I came so close to my destiny and I failed. I failed because I was weak in the chaotic form of the feminine. I completely surrendered. What happened was it made a lot of things make sense for all my past lives that I have progressed to within that time frame. Because before that, I was male, and before that, I was other things. But the last 9 lifetimes, I have been a female. And I have died again and again and again, horrifically suffering in different ways because of those choices. Because I couldn't face up to the chaos of the feminine. I was completely lost in it. I had no masculine grounding. So in this lifetime, when I came out of hell, I said to myself, I'm going back, and I'm going to fucking do it. I'm going to fulfill my destiny. I'm going to complete my urlok, and I need the power of Seidr to do it, and I need the powers of the feminine. But I also need the masculine. What the fuck do I do? I had a choice, you know? I've chosen this. I've chosen to come back into this life, to live male, realize that I need to change and do so, to transform with the knowledge of this past. And I'm not forcing my agenda on this. The more I learn, the more I go, what the fuck? And it's being told to me. I'm not telling it, it's telling me. So what I wanted to mention is that bloodline lineage is very real. And I've been through these changes and these experiences. So I know what that can be like. And it's something I'm continuing to go through. This is a very strange time to be doing what I'm doing. Very, very weird. We've gone through changes in the last 12 years that are unprecedented. I don't think I've seen this in a long time. That transhuman timeline is coming. That fucking seed of AI, that seed of technology embedded within the human genome, the DNA that's being corrupted, is coming. And that's why I'm here.
Right.
That's why I'm alive.
And there's many of us here that have come to prevent what has already happened. It's already happened. That's the fucking thing. And a lot of the, I'll say, soft disclosure with the reverse psychology tactics of the sorcerers, especially through Hollywood, man. They're letting you know what their fucking agenda is.
Yeah. Well, that's the point. It's like a sigil. The more you see it, the more power it gets.
And see, people don't understand the occult. They don't know the fucking occult. They don't even know who the fuck they are. They don't even know how to access the memories that you've been able to. You're healing through these timelines, catching up the soul cycle, getting back on where you need to be to fulfill your destiny and finish what the ancestors started. Because shit got fucked up. And there was a major separation between divine masculine and divine feminine. That's why there's been such chaos the last 26,000 fucking years, especially the last 3,500, divine feminine being the main target, because if they can control that, then they can give birth to this agenda. You did what you did out of fear. You didn't have that strong masculine energy there to fortify and help ground. This is Thunar. How Thunar operates, the positive and negative charge of the energy force. And this is getting back to the spindle. This is getting back to Yggdrasil.
Talking about that chi, because when you say divine masculine from the father's lineage, well, the mother's is melatonin, the divine masculine's in the blood. That's chi, that's prana. Thunar is the lord of chi. He is thunder. That is chi.
And when I do rituals, and this is getting back to the planetary consciousness, right? And that's why the moon is so important. My moon's in Scorpio. I have a lot of Scorpio energy, Mars. This is my position, divine masculine energy. Now, I do understand how you have to work with both, because male and female are on a polarity. Getting into the cosmic laws, the law of vibrational correspondence, okay? And if two things are not on the same vibrational correspondence, the electromagnetic spectrum repels. It doesn't come together in harmony, and then the spindle is hijacked, and then they manipulate through knowing how things actually work, keeping it from other people. They're able to weave whatever they fucking want through other people, and this is why the karma hasn't passed off on the dark ones, because it's humanity fucking doing it. It's humanity consenting to it, not knowing the difference, because we weren't taught these fucking things. And that's why this is my fucking position, because I had all of those memories come back of when I was tortured for being who the fuck I was. And I was a warrior. I've been a warrior in many fucking lifetimes. Ironically, I was a part of the Roman Legion, and I defected in that lifetime because I saw what they were fucking doing. And I was like, fuck this. I was time traveling and fucking, it sounds fucking insane.
I don't think it is at all.
But this isn't the only thing going on with me. I am a traveler and a translator. I'm here as a diplomat for all fucking races, cultures, fucking, you know, trying to bring things back. As humanity, we have to catch this fucking shit up. Otherwise, we're fucked. And we have to get back to our fucking roots. Our ancient roots, as far fucking back as we can like get to. This has been my path working where things have taken me. At the moment, there's more coming. So it's fucking nuts, man.
Then we are two divine communicators, my friend.
Yes.
Because this is exactly what I've been called to do. This is what the Völur does. I travel, I talk, I teach, I perform Seidr, and I bring that energy back to the peoples who have lost it, who've been blind to it. This ignorance that is currently formed is self-chosen. This is something we have created for us.
It's by consent.
And it's by consent. We're not rising up against it. We're not being drengered. We're living in that fear.
It's part of the hex that we've been, trapped in. The mythos gets into the symbolism of what I'm talking about, but the tesseract, okay? And it's interesting, that's the cube. The fucking snake eating its fucking tail.
Yeah.
On the solar eclipse, like I've talked about, that's when Rahu was going to swallow this fucking reality field, and there was a major fucking battle. I was a part of it. I'm very connected to Thor. Other shit that fucking people have told me, and even fucking Thunder Wizard told me. He said the gods have issue with you right now. When I had my reading with him, and I was like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "You need to be who the fuck you are." I said, "I feel very connected to Thor." He said, "Yes, you are, and you are that here." And this is what I do within the fulcrum. I get the spindle going. I start weaving, setting my fucking intention. Okay? You set your intention. It's all a state of mind. You take a hold of the spindle, and from there, when you master this, when you master your disposition and know what you have to work with, nothing is impossible. Nothing.
Well,
it's so fucking interesting what you talk about, the bottom of the tree.
Yeah, they are. But the well of Mimir is not just knowledge, it's wisdom. Remember, this is what Odin gave his eye for. They are taking that wisdom and they've blocked it up. And they're dripping it off one piece at a time. You seen the new Mad Max? Like that motherfucker.
Yeah.
They're releasing it one bit at a time to keep people coming back and trapped. It's just enough to keep you coming back. And that's just enough for people to live thousands of lives trapped in these cycles without ever. And you know what? This is what happened with my Seidr last week, is when I went to Mother Hela and she shoved my head into my cauldron in the hut where I was when I was burned to death. She shoved my head in that cauldron and she took me through the 9 worlds and showed me the waters of Mimir. Those waters she showed me, they were not only being siphoned and drip-fed and taken away, but they're so unbelievably addictive and so incredibly potent. They are the blood of the Norns. The well of Mimir is the blood of the Norns. Because when the Norns weave through the spindle and they weave the 3 timelines, they are weaving of their own essence, their own blood, their own power. And that is the aspect of the well of Mimir, the wisdom of all 3 timelines converging. Now I'm starting to get really hot right now because this is Seidr. I'm channeling Alpha right now. So this is it. That blood of the Norns is the very thing that we are trying to find sustenance, but it's not enough. It's not enough. And so people are completely, frantically, with odor and with madness, trying to drink more, but only from the same source. So they live their whole lives doing one thing they think they should be doing that is not related to their soul. They live a false existence of themselves. All the Hammer, Huger, Familia, Haminya, the 4 parts of the Norse view of the self, they create these things vicariously and then try and live through them. And yet the whole time, they're just getting the blood of the Norn of the present, Verthandi. And they're never even understanding the blood of Skuld, the future, or the blood of Urd, the past. And so that's not activating in them. Because when you align yourself to your Urlog, your soul purpose, you're not just aligning yourself in this timeline. You're aligning in every fucking timeline that exists. Not only are you aligning in the timeline, you are aligning the timelines. You are bringing them all into the now. That's the blood of the Norns, and it's hot. This is where the seething comes from. This is where the boiling comes from. This is Seidr. Because the blood of the Norns is just potent. They're the blood of the... They're
what's giving birth. And they have also been trapped, like I've been talking about. So when Odin came to me and he said, tell the people that it's all bullshit and that we are ready to evolve as well. I'm getting fucking chills right now. When he said that to me, it confirmed what I have known. It would eventually reach a point when all things would be revealed and then come back into trajectory. We remember who the fuck we are, and we actually do what we're here to fucking do and stop playing this bullshit fucking matrix and take back this fucking reality field.
Yeah.
And we're just now going into 2018 as far as what's been revealed to me on the threshold of that now. It started this year, and we got the timeline now going into 2085. They can't fuck with it. They can't fuck with our kind like they have been able to. You got targeted when you were younger. You fell into all this dark shit. And it's interesting. There was a reading given yesterday to my partner, and she was told that she was a part of Project Lókja. Right. Okay, and this is how the divine feminine has been targeted. Because if Lókja can control that, imagine what he can birth with that force.
Well, he can birth Jormungandr.
Right.
The real ultimate manifestation of Jormungandr, because we have Angerboda.
What about Fenrir? Because we still haven't faced Fenrir yet.
Yeah, oh fuck, no, you're right. It's Fenrir. Holy shit, yes.
Because Jormungandr was prevented. During the solar eclipse, when Rahu eclipsed the sun, it wasn't the fucking moon that eclipsed the sun. It was Rahu. And Rahu is able to hide itself within the fabric of the universe. And it showed itself for the first time in 26,000 years in September.
Rahu is Loki.
Right.
He really is.
The planetary sphere of consciousness that is that. It's the planetary sphere of consciousness. It's consciousness. It's energy. And it showed itself. I had never felt energy like that before. But there was a line drawn in the sand and said, no, you cannot do. And then came the hurricanes, all the fucking fires, all the shit happening at the poles with the fucking electromagnetic field and shit like that. And we're literally in a pole shift right now. I talking to another guy, and the reason I'm having him come on is because he works with this herb called Thunder God Vine. Thunder God Vine. Liquid cheap. Right.
Jesus. Fucking hell.
There are things that have been kept from us that we can utilize to bring us back into, connection. I think this is one of the things, but
sure. Well, if you're drawn to it, absolutely. I mean, follow your little up there. But I would always say, be careful of plant teachers. One of the 9 herbs of Odin that I work with is marijuana.
That's
I have been revealed the 9 herbs of Odin. I have them right here on a circle. I'll name them.
Okay.
You have white nettle, fennel, mugwort, wormwood, marijuana, chamomile. You have anise. There's 7. There's 2 more. One is one of your choosing. For me, that's tea. I find that tea just aligns me with it's how I communicate and things like that. The last one of those is white horehound. Each of them aligns to one of the worlds of Yggdrasil, and when you use it in ritual, oh my god. Now, this is when I say that Odin led me places, and he helped me work through the 3 chakras that is aligned with. I learned the secrets of life and death. This is where I was having Seidr, where I was looking at people and seeing their shuld. I just saw that. This is Odin showing me that Seidr. As he was taught Seidr by Freya, my patron goddess, now he is teaching me. And this is Jupiter, Rahu, Venus in my astrological chart. So there you go.
Tell me about Fenrir.
You want to know about Fenrir? I will tell you about Fenrir. Currently, you're saying there's a lot of pole shift going on. We have that too. And I've known my whole life Ragnarok is coming. I've known that. This isn't fucking Thor movie timeline. Real, Fenrir is coming. Fenrir is on the way. I grew up in New Zealand where everything is beautiful and green and cool, and you might have hot days every now and then, but it started getting dry. Different species started dying. Animals started dying. I moved over here to Australia. I didn't know what to expect. I arrived here on a 45 degrees Celsius day, which is literally 122 Fahrenheit. The temperature has been going up incrementally. We had the hottest day ever recorded last year in summer. It hit 48 degrees, and in some parts of the country, 53. That's like 140 Fahrenheit. You couldn't go outside. You would just burn. So polarity shifts are happening. We've seen hurricanes. We've seen these things. When Loki births Fenrir, there will be earthquakes. There will be tremors. There will be tsunamis. There will also be destruction of glaciers. There will be quakes within ice caps that break them apart and melt them. Sea level rises, humidity rises, the world is burning. Fenrir can be looked at in many ways. Politically, Fenrir is the consuming, voracious, insatiable hunger of control. And that is being fed by the dispositional balance between the left and the right. The left being the feminine, the right being the masculine. This subjugation and fighting between one another and just complete disarray, particularly in the United States, that is Fenrir. Fenrir feeds on discord. He feeds on the hand of Tyr. He feeds on nobility striving for a greater purpose, he feeds on compromise. That's what Fenrir is feeding on. Now, in the myths, Fenrir obviously swallows the sun. He is the Fame Wolf. And what does that discord create? The lack of alignment with the true soul, the true Urlog, the true Dharma create? The children of Loki. That's what I'm seeing now. I'm seeing it in other scales too. What the fuck has been accomplished in the last 50 years in a military concept? Nothing. From Vietnam to the Gulf War to everything going on in the Middle East, it's just consumption. It's just mindless veridity. It's complete obsession with hunger. It's a hunger for death, a hunger for ending. And that's what Fenrir is feeding on. You know, in the poem The Völuspa, it says, "Then is fulfilled Hlin's second sorrow, when Odin goes to fight the wolf." Because everyone believes, oh, Odin, the god of war, Thor, the god of war. Yes, but ultimately gods of peace. They fight because they must. They love to fight when they must, but they fight because they have to. There's no other choice. And we're at that stage now. We're at that point now. A line has been drawn and a fight is coming. We know that. Just like the Romans in 1300 AD, coming to the Germanic peoples to kill everything. That is what's happening now with humanity. And it's sadly the civil war bullshit of the bloodline. It is humanity versus humanity in ignorance. Yeah, what more can you do? There's this power that is awake. And I don't know how to fucking fight this thing other than what I'm already doing. Where it starts now is sowing these seeds. This Seidr is priming these waters, reawakening the blood, aligning the blood, helping people to wake up. Because yes, there are these warriors in Asgard and warriors in Folkvanger and the ancestors that are waiting to come out. Ancestors that are waiting to reawaken us. This is why the Alfar are coming through people like yourself and Michael William Dent. But this Hydra, there's this idea that you cut off the head of the Hydra, another one creates itself, that it has its tendrils into everything of the world. Fenrir is the result of that. So the insidious nature of Jormungandr encircling the world and surrounding it and binding and constricting it. Fenrir is what arises from that. He's the blood wolf, consumed. He seeks to consume the minds of the ignorant.
Right.
That's what he hungers for.
Right, and that's why it's so fucking important for our kind to do what they do. To continue to do what we're doing. Burn through those fucking trials of initiation. And more people are beginning to see the value of this, man. And they better fucking catch it now, because if they don't, then what you're talking about is upon them. They'll be there to reinforce it. They'll go into the evaporation fucking zones and be devoured when and if this happens. I'm trying to be neutral with everything, because you're talking about earthquakes and fucking shit like that. At the same time, Mother Earth, Gaia, she could at any instant. And this is also a reflection and expression of the divine feminine force.
Yeah.
Could
totally
crush on the very thin crust like that. She's just got to shake a little bit fucking harder. You know, it's more of an annoyance right now. But the way timelines work, you're talking about past, present, and future. And this is how I do tarot readings. I do a 5-card spread. And I do a
5-rune spread.
5-rune spread. Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
Always have.
The way that I do the readings, though, it's past, present, future, solution, outcome.
I do current situation, past, present, future, outcome.
You gotta be fucking kidding me.
Who does that.
Shut the fuck up. No fucking way.
Let me show you. This was the last rune reading I did. You see that? That was the last fucking rune reading I did.
Listen. This technique was given to me by the Norns.
Yeah.
This is how I'm using the tarot.
Wow.
What the fuck? Just wow. Okay,
well,
so you and I.
Freya taught me that.
Right. So. Okay. Listen. You and I are tapping into a science that's very fucking ancient. The readings that I'm giving my students and my initiates, it's that fucking scary fucking accurate.
I get to the end of the reading and I break down everything, and then I find the connections and I find the loop points, and I never read runes for myself, but I was told to do this recently. I wanted to know the outcome of these trials. I'm currently going through a 30-day trial of fire.
You do the spread exactly the same way I am doing, and we have never fucking even fucking talked about this.
Exactly the same way. And I've never seen it in a book. I've never seen it online. I've never seen it anywhere. Yeah.
What the fuck, man? That's fucking tripping me the fuck out, because I haven't taught this to anybody yet either. I share with them this is what I'm doing. But when I do it, I literally contact the Norns and show them what they themselves have been weaving. Because the Norns want to show us so that we can get control of the spindle again.
100%.
Know who we fucking are, and then we start weaving things in alignment with the ultimate fucking good. Because there's Ragnarok, but then there's Ragnaroker.
Yeah, yeah. This is how I read my runes. So this will give you a good idea. And this is something that I was told to practice, told to do for people for the last 9 months. Everything for me is coming in threes, 0s, 3s, 6s, and 9s, which I know are aligned with the tree of Yggdrasil, the true tree of life that you have been working on. This is exactly how I see it, you know? This is creating that just beautiful alignment of the three major energies. So this is what it looks like when I read runes, you know?
Fucking A. With the runes, it's more personal with me. I haven't done any rune reading with anyone. There's no fucking way this is not real.
I know that. Yes, that's the thing. If you ever doubt, you can't now.
There's no fucking way this is not real.
Yeah.
And it works the same. The tarot is the archetypes of human consciousness.
Well, they reach this level that they believe is enlightenment because that's the only thing that's been shown to them. It's that drip feeding again. And they go, this is it, but then they don't evolve beyond it. They get just enough to keep them.
Yeah, they hit that ceiling.
Yeah.
With this right here.
Fuck, man. I just need to show you this because that is so powerful. It's sending me images, and I'm sure you've seen the symbol of the web of weird. Oh my God, look at this. See how that tree is
that's the symbol of the Norns, right? And you can put that also inside.
That's what I mean. It's within it. It's on top of it. It is part of it. This is a combination of things over and over again.
Right. When the cataclysms happened and the fragmentation of worlds took place, things were broken off from an original holistic.
Yeah, like icebergs. Everyone got a
science. You know, and this is magic on a whole other fucking level.
Yeah, well, on a macrocosmic level, that's Gnoga. That's like I always say, the reflection of the universe. We are living in the reflection of the universe. The true universe is the 0, right? But we are living through the 9 of the reflection of that. So as above, so below. As within, so without.
Right,
so,
but this at the same time is what they've manipulated against.
Yes, yeah, of course. Yeah.
Sorcerers on the highest level. These fucking people have no fucking idea who these people really are. This is what I'm here to fucking heal as far as my bloodline, because Boza means keepers of the sacred tree.
And I'm so glad that this happened, because I didn't know who you were 3 months ago. I didn't even know. I saw your name and I went, oh, seems like a cool dude. Right. Time went by. Freya goes, contact him. I'm like, okay. My ancestors go, contact him. And I go, okay. And Odin goes, contact him. And the Alpha. Everyone. I have showed with you, which is why when I heard your voice, I went back to make this motherfucker runes. What we should do is part of our soul code, part of our blood code as well. What I'm writing about now is things I want to share with you and help you to remember.
At one time in the past, I was wielding this shit in the same fashion, and then all the fucked up shit happened.
Bind runes are very powerful. The one in the middle, this one, this is my surname. It is literally Lókja. And that name was given to me by Odin, because that was my first name when I was alive as a Völur. And 3 months ago, when I was having this experience, I went on Google Maps and I found a place in Norway called Lókja, and it means the path to Lókja. And when I looked at that place, it's a remote place, far up in the north, and it's cold and wet, and there's a valley with trees. And when I saw it, I broke down into tears because I saw my home. I know where I lived, and they named it after me. And there's no way I can fucking prove this, but I had no idea. When I got my name, that's Lókja. Odin gave me that name. I had a dream in which some people in my life who I very much respected had converted in my dream to Christianity. And this was the last time that cult tried to fuck with me. This is what happened. They were sitting on my deathbed, and I was dying of some disease. They were telling me about all the benefits of Christ and why Jehovah was the only God, and all I needed to do was to say that he was my savior and my soul would be saved, and all this terrible shit. And I said to him, the person talking, I said, even if I go to hell where I've been before, I will never bow to Jehovah. And I felt this strength, this surge, this Ranger, Odin. What Odin is consumed with, self-awareness, self-empowerment, the urlog and the knowledge of one's own urlog, that came over me, and I yelled, and everything in my dream burned to a cinder, and I opened my eyes, and I was sitting in full lotus position outside my house 1,000 years ago, looking at the valleys, looking at the trees, and across from the rolling thunder in the storm, over the hills, through the forests, I heard my name in pure Galdr. Lókja came echoing across the world and hit me, and I woke up from my dream crying and gasping, and that was my name. Odin gave me my name. He made me remember my name. And now this is what's happened. The reason why I contacted you is this. This trial is leading me to my full-time destiny of being this Völur, being Völur, aligning my urlog. And it all starts with crafting. I am going to be crafting sets of bone runes. I am going to be sending them to people all over the world. Not only bone runes, my craft is very literal as well as spiritual. And I make things for people that align them with their soul purpose. So, starting from the bottom, there is a ball of knots, rope, web of weird, essentially. The rope is knotted into 3 and bound to itself. On this, you have 3 runes, Turizaj, Evash, and Manats. Beyond that, you have more stones, you have fur, it's all very symbolic. You have this.
That's
is
awesome.
ambrosial nectar. This is that Thor thunder root. This is it. This is chi, prana, becoming the master of. You then have more bones, Beina Fuga, which symbolize the Foreldra, our ancestors, and that just keeps going. And so it's massive, you know, it's huge. It hangs in your house. It's massive. This is what I'm doing. And my purpose is to align this for people, with people.
This is actually very important to the progression, I'll say in context to the tradition of our ancestors. What you were sharing with me, your craft work. When you sent me the picture of this, I was like, holy fucking shit. You're remembering what you already know. And I don't know anybody else out there that's actually doing what you're doing. Even other magicians. It's very unique, actually, what I'm getting from you.
The 3 major forms of magic known by the Norse people were Galdr, Lokkr, and Seidr. Lokkr means to call. This is how you manifest something when you put energy and you think about it, and then that thing happens, or you gain an object, or you get an item or something. That's Lokkr. And if you look at in Sweden, they're still practicing something today called kulning. You can go out right now into a field where there are cows, and you can do this kulning, and they will come to you. This is in essence Lokkr, because what you're doing is you're not making new webs, you're not making new Seidr or chords on the web of weird, you're calling other chords to you. So in my experience, Galdr is making a Seidr or making a chord on the web of weird. Lokkr is calling one to you with magnetism, and Seidr is then changing and moving those. And it's also the mastery of the 3 minds, because in your conscious mind, you know, your higher self, This is where that Seidr comes from, that channeling. This is where Sitte, as the word in Old Norse, is. This is where that seed is. And then in the lower self, this is where that Lókja is. And your Galdr is being able to translate between the higher and the lower self, your Alfar and your Dverger or Svartalfar. The crown chakra and the root chakra being able to translate from the heart center chakra, with your Galdr.
Check this out. You're talking about 3.
Yeah.
On the original template of human consciousness, it's a 3-core chakra system.
And you know why? I work with 3 expressions of the 3. I work with 9 chakras.
Right. Well, 3, 9, and 6 are all interchangeable.
They're all the same, yeah.
With the spread that you put out, you were getting 0, 3, 9, and 6.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And that's Tyr.
Yeah.
It's Tyr.
Yeah.
Share with me a little bit about what you know about Tyr. Tyr is also appeared to me.
I have seen him in others, but I have not met him, per se. Now, as within, so without. So I've obviously experienced that energy, but not to a degree like I have, say, with Odin or Loki or Freya. But Tyr has a specific kind of power that is different to the energy of the warring king Odin. There is a reason why Odin is king of the gods now and why Tyr was king of the gods then. When Tyr was king of the gods, aspects of honor for the sake of being the divine guiding light of the warrior, that noble intention, that was what existed then. It was the drive for expansion, the drive for a longing of wisdom and a longing of knowledge, which Odin could give, but Tyr could help them find the path to. In my experience, the rune Tivats, or Tivat, is very closely related to Kenats. Again, this is aspects of the Disir and the divine feminine, but Tivats is that sword, that arrow, that light of the warrior that leads the way forward. It is in its own essence a celestial or divine torch. And I find that Tyr can come up within people. When you see someone perform an act of extreme just nobility that comes out of fucking nowhere, that's Tyr. And even if it comes at a cost to themselves, this is seen later on again with him and his archetype feeding his hand to Fenrir before Ragnarok, which we discussed earlier. I have seen Tyr arise in other people in times and been completely blown away. It's that North Star energy. It's the guiding star energy that just pulls you into your magnetism to face that north, to face that alignment of the middle row of the tree of life, the true tree of life of Idris. It is that moment where you look up and have divine clarity.
Mm-hmm.
That's Tyr. That's North Star guiding energy. That's just this divine momentary escape from humanity. Literally takes you from your body and instills you with this power to change the fucking universe in an instant. That's Tyr.
In my Seidr experience, I've definitely felt that. I know my potential with it, and I've never fully unleashed the lion.
Yeah.
And that's why I have a lion on the Black Earth Productions website. It's the gate we must enter.
Yeah, yeah. There's a reason why Odin's animal is not a lion. Odin is a wolf and a crow. He's all the things that Tyr is not, because Tyr is too noble.
Right.
Tyr is that just immeasurable force of the positive nature of divine masculine. But it's embedded within.
So there is a distortion, in a sense, with Odin, and this is why Odin came to me and said, "We are ready," because he's realized. And it wasn't my decision among the councils, but the Dark Ones have been given a chance as well.
Oh,
and
yeah.
that's why there's kind of like stalemate at the moment. Nobody can really fuck with anyone. It's just certain timelines have to play themselves out because the astral is collapsing. All these old systems aren't going to work for what's coming.
No.
And so we're learning to remember, catching up the soul cycles, and then we're going to be launched into the new. And it's what we choose to do, what we choose to create. And we must learn from the mistakes of the past and make sure that we don't repeat them. Because if that happens again.
Think about Loki shaking in his underground chamber as the snake spits venom on his forehead, and he is making his intent known. He wants to get out. And he's boldly showing his face now. He's going, yes, Jormungandr, look, it's here. Guess what's coming next? That's Loki, that's Rahu as he eclipses the sun. That's shoving it in your face. Just like all these dark ones who are putting this timeline out there, shoving it in our faces to make us ignorant of it. Because you're only blind to what's right in front of you. And that's exactly what's happening. And we will repeat the same mistakes if we don't catch it and share it. We have to take this and make it new. We have to combine it. And I'm getting the sense that Loki is saddened by this. You've been saying the gods are trapped. I agree with you. They're bent in and out of this timeline, those beyond it, the Aesir in Asgard, and those who are within time, the Vanir, Loki, Njord, Freya. They are all bent within that time. So are the Nords. And it's all getting just compressed by Jormungandr. It's all getting just pushed in and on of itself. I don't know about you, but I'm shaking. I am feeling intense prana right now. And you are more connected in ways that I am not. Because there are many things that I do not understand and that I'm learning from you as we talk. Like I've said, when I talk to you, I see things.
Share with me some more if you can, because I don't know how other people are gauging my energy. I'm able to pierce the reality field like Odin.
You are.
I don't always need to fucking be pulled into everything that's going on. When I was younger, I couldn't control it. And you're talking about Loki being in the cave and the venom's dripping on his forehead.
And it's right in front of their face. That's how it's the most terrifying, is because if you're aware to it, with those powers of Seidr that we were discussing, that being aware of things you didn't ask for, seeing people's deaths, seeing people's lives, noticing karma or shuld, and looking
you know what's even more fucked up that I see? It's not necessarily what people are doing on the surface, it's the intention. You know, utilizing the gift of intuition. It's water, and I am a water magician. And this is why I've had to pour all this water, you could say, from the well into my north node. Thunder was just said, I am on my orlog. I am doing what I am fucking here to do. And now, like you're saying with Lókja, I'm magnetizing what needs to come, other people in trajectories, so that this can fucking manifest.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm just a way shower. Truth is the master, right? And nobody is above correction. Fucking nobody. So the lion, that lion energy, right? And in the Vedic astrology, my north node is in Leo. So it's like this lion fucking, having to make shit practical. And it's just a fucking dance, because I use many different systems of gnosis, getting into higher occult sciences that even the dark ones don't fucking know about. And so I'm having to protect, this shit. But the way you're tracking, and the way that you are decoding, and the way that you are picking up on things, it is directly in alignment with what is coming. And so
this is very, very true in that sense. I would love to explain this to you here now, because I need to channel this. The Seidr that I've been talking with you of has been coming from several places, primarily the Alfar, but also Odin. And I'm feeling it right now, so I'm going to talk. When you empower yourself, you empower everyone around you. When you master your three minds, the conscious, subconscious, and unconscious minds, when you master the threefold cycle of chakras, the three chakra system of the true tree of life, Yggdrasil, the crown chakra, the root chakra, and the heart center, when you align those, what you experience is the ability to manifest not only your entire reality, but to impact on the timeline of the macrocosmic reality. And when you get enough people doing that with the same intention and vision, we remake the world. And what I'm experiencing is that you are pulling people to yourself When you feel that energy of Tyr come over you, that is the North Star. And you must embrace that, for in that star you become the lighthouse. You send out the beacon. You light the torch to lead the way, and others find themselves in that presence, in that alignment. You are the shaman crawling from beneath the bramble bushes after dying and crawling up from out of hell, and you are alighting with the light of Dagr. By empowering yourself with that light, you empower all others. So do not turn from the light of Tyr. Do not be afraid of that lion ferocity. It will come up within you. You must share it. You are a beacon. You are calling others to yourselves. Now is the time to practice the Lókja. Now is the time to set that intention that you have on the binding of your wall, in your circle, drawing that out and saying, I need people here. Yeah, we will crawl from out of the woodwork and we will find you. We will come and we will collect and we will empower and we will move. That's what's happening. When I heard your voice and I told you that it shook me, I felt that prana, and I just needed to make you runes, and I needed to conversate with you. The reason I felt that is blood code. This has happened before. We've been here before. It's all happening right now. Those timelines are aligning. The past, the future, the present, the Urd, the Shult, the Verdandi, they're here. And we have a chance to do this. We have a chance to align and empower people on a scale that has never been felt before, but they need lights to look upon. They need that North Star. And currently, Tyr is not king of the gods. We need to work with him. We need to bring that light in. We need to use the wisdom of Odin that he has sacrificed for, that we are sacrificing for now, that you and I have gone through these shamanic Seidr initiations over and over again throughout lifetimes to bring us here, to move onward. We are collecting, we are synchronizing. There's a reason all these people are waking up, all these people are remembering, and they are aligning those timelines with themselves. And when they do, they align to that universal timeline. When the 9 becomes the 6, becomes the 3, becomes the 0, then you have that ultimate trajectory. And that's where we're at.
And like an arrow, Sagittarius is the fire magician. That fire, that we have to walk through to burn away the lie is the experience of Seidr. It's the alchemical process. And you go into the Athanor, people, they can get caught in the black earth if they don't know how to navigate the inversion of everything that people are still caught in. From now, going into 2018, 2025 is when it's meant to flip, because we probably decided to have this conversation in before incarnation.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's
very strange how things fucking work, because there's no fucking way you're doing some of the same practice that I am on your own. So what you're saying with me of being a beacon, being that fucking lion, I've never fully unleashed the lion. No one has ever fucking seen me like that. But I've gotten like that when I'm by myself.
Mm-hmm.
Going through these transformations, learning to remember. Where it goes from here, yeah, I have an idea as well, but...
we can't yet. We can't, because it will be misinterpreted on a scale that is...
Right. And so for me, I'm 20 to 50 steps ahead, man, even beyond what I'm sharing with people. And I have to talk about what's viable for the moment, because if you get too far ahead of yourself, people aren't going to fucking catch it. And they still need to catch the shit I said even last year. People get online, right? And they're jumping from one thing to the next, and they're getting their fucking...
Chaos.
Right, they're getting their energy centers fucking, played upon. You see something and it triggers you the fuck out, and then you're on there fucking, typing and getting in fucking stupid fucking arguments that are never gonna fucking go anywhere. And this is one way they're distracting people. But with what I'm doing in practice and with our students and initiates, I'm giving them material to focus on, and the ones that are doing it are experiencing what we're talking about. I'm already picking up on this with you. You know a lot of what's actually going on.
I am in a state where I've put myself as part of my trial. I'm married to my craft. That's what this year has been. This has been my year of my preliminary vows. This has been my fucking engagement party this year, where everything has been stripped away and I was given the choice. Do I align now or do I not? And I've chosen to, and that's why I'm going through all these things now. Funnily enough, the 30-day trial by fire that I'm experiencing, that I've mentioned to you, ends on the 25th of December. It ends in the middle of Yule. Next year is when I begin. I begin sending my craft overseas. I give you your gift. I do this for many others who are experiencing this. And there are Sethikus, I don't know anyone who's going through what I'm going through where I am, but there are some who are on the way, and I'm helping them with that. By me aligning myself this year, I have seen people come from the dregs of their own self-loathing, their own complete consumption of their ether, their willpower that has been taken from them, their own disempowerment, their fear-based beliefs. I've seen people who were in psych wards come to align themselves, and they're on the way. And I'm just watching it going, I'm not really doing anything other than aligning myself.
Mm-hmm.
And by doing so, this is what's happening with them. This is why we need more people connecting. The more that we connect, the greater the scope of that system of influence becomes. It's like a ripple effect. And imagine when we have thousands of people on that trajectory, thousands of people toward the North Star. This is when those systems die. This is when those systems crumble and burn. And then everyone else is freed. I mean,
it's never happened before.
I know. That's why it's so incredibly vital. We have to catch it, but we have to be patient, and that's all that I'm getting.
I have to be very, very patient. Right?
Patience. Patient.
And I cannot deny the activations that have been happening in context. People like you and myself, our connection's a little bit deeper because this is getting into bloodline lineage. And now the dark ones don't have jurisdiction with how things operate. This is where we take back the fucking goddamn fucking reins and set things fucking right. Giving them the opportunity to heal if they want to. The higher level initiates with the Brotherhood of the Snake and all the shit that nobody has any fucking idea about. The Temple of Set too is on a lower fucking tier. Okay, but this is getting into the dark occult think tanks. And they're the ones that have been running shit behind the fucking scenes, and then it all trickles down. This poison fucking tree, man, that is inverted and has been siphoning.
That's what I've been waiting to say.
The blood, and they cut us off from our roots. Every race, culture, and getting into the blue flame and what the blue flame is. Let's talk about that for a second, because
sure. When you were talking about OCCULT and anyone who's following a pagan path, there is an element of truth to everything in that sense. Everyone has a piece of that puzzle. Everyone has a concept of a world. Everyone has a symbol, an idea, an element, a spark. And with OCCULT, they're being drip-fed certain things. And because of the idealism of monotheism, because of this dualistic perspective that they have, us versus the Christians. And what you were saying before about the gods not wanting to be worshipped, you're 100% correct. They want to be recognized. They want to be understood. They want to have dealings with us. They want to be companions in this universe. They want to be teachers and students. And there's this mind of dualism that is created by these cults of Saturn, by Judaism, by Christianity, by Islam, and it's carrying over through into their now concept of their ancient ancestral tradition. So now they're talking about their ancestors. They're talking about the myths, the Poetic Edda, the Prose Edda, Ynglinga Saga, Völuspa. They're referring to these source materials with dualistic mindsets. So they're missing the point. And there are so many people who are trapped in that, whether it's OCCULT, whether it's anything, Christians who are manifesting the reality. But they're manifesting reality of fear, of disempowerment, of mindlessness, of servitude, of substitute, submission.
That was one of the main things when I was involved in ministry, was submission to authority.
Yeah, you've got to bow down to God or you're out, you know? That's the thing.
And they kicked me the fuck out. I stood up in the middle of it.
Yes.
Right in front of fucking everybody. And I called him out on his bullshit.
When I called you something over Skype, I said that you were Emperor of the Occult. That's your title for you. And that's who you need to be, that lion, that tier. Because everything had led to that, you know? You are always right where you need to be for your Dharma. You are always right there for your Urlok. It's about the present. It's about the alignment of all of those things into the now. And you've mentioned the blue flame healing arts. I definitely want to talk to you about that. You've seen those symbols and those images. These are the 3 eights. You have Freya's 8, you have Hagar's 8, and you have Tyr's 8. Yeah. You have the 8 directions and the 9 worlds as a result. So this is what I have in my house. This is what I'm looking at right now. And the blue flame healing arts are a unification, that spark of creation. When our ancestors talked about the beginning of the known universe, when from within Gunungagap, the fires from Muspelheimer in the south, which is up because heat rises, boiled the vapors of Niflheimer in the north, which is below. And the two met within the void and sparked the reflection of creation, the reflection of that tree, the true tree of life, the tree of Yggdrasil. That spark is what I believe to be the blue flame healing arts. Is going from that 9630.
Right, and I haven't even presented the true universal tree of life yet, because people have to be initiated. They have to remember what they're working with. They have to remember how their system mechanics operates. Because when you get into true magic and your intention is not pure, then we get what we got in the past.
We get what we're getting now with people who are using magic like
That
you
too.
and I did without knowing it, because they're bound in that ignorance that they've created for themselves, and they're manifesting that timeline. Those are the most dangerous. The people who in ignorance are manifesting the powers. And this is why you've seen a rise in mental illness in the last, let's say, 100 years. There are more people deemed mentally insane now in the world than ever before, and not just because of population growth, but per capita, per continent, per country. More people are nuts. And this idealism of mental illness is an inexplicable trap to keep you addicted to medications, to keep you afraid of yourself, afraid of your insecurities, your inabilities, to realize that you are only human, so they say, only human. We are so much more. And there are thousands of people out there right now who are on this wavelength, who are lost and locked up and lost without the beacon. What is your intention for the blue flame healing arts?
The full package initiation is to set people in trajectory and give them focused, proper knowledge and wisdom, so that when it comes time, certain individuals that are ready to make that jump and become part of this order. Okay, this is a part of my fucking destiny, to recreate the wisdom councils. And the wisdom councils, go back millions of years. This isn't just 400,000 to 300,000. This is millions. Okay, and this is getting into my cosmic heritage. Have our celestial origins in Fecta, Vega, and Lyra. There's other stargates of consciousness that are within us because the universe is within. You can travel the stars. You are the true technology. And this is what they don't want us to know, especially when it comes to the physical vessel, because this, as far as I'm concerned, is the highest realm. The physical manifestation, because there's no separation of worlds. It's just the illusion of the separation with the triangulation and manipulation of the spindle. Okay? And here in the middle on Yggdrasil, it's right in the middle of the other part of the structure. Okay? But right in the middle is Midgard. And from there, that's where the spiral energy comes forth from within. So pulling the roots of the tree in trajectory with your true core essence, this is how we make connection to what I term the blue flame. And the blue flame is one of the original founder flames of consciousness. This is going back to the 12 original race lines. And the blue flame is the one that I am personally connected to. There are others as well. The blue flame isn't the only one. But this is a part of what I'm here to unfold and show others, and then more is going to be revealed. But for it to come into alignment the right way, we have to get back to our roots. And right now, the ancestors are awakening from within us, even more than when the stellar activation cycle started in the year 2000. In 2017, this is when it comes fully online within the next 7 fucking years. And we are just at the beginning of it.
Yeah.
Feeling what we are. You experiencing what you are. We're just at the threshold, man. We're just at the fucking door. Because I know how much attention it has garnered from the dark ones, and they've tried to take me out. They've tried to murder me. And there's so many times I should have fucking died, but they didn't fucking get me. They didn't get you. They didn't get the other ones that are going to learn to remember this as well, because there's more of us. There's more of us out there.
You've mentioned quite a few things there, that you've gone really deep into the past, the timeline which is converging with the now as well. And you've understood things which I have no idea about. In the same way that when I heard your voice, when I heard that weird and I went, shulp, and I knew immediately what this was. I want to mention something to you. Okay. Running from our destiny, running from these things, names specifically. My name Lókja, that Odin gave to me, that was my past name from my lifetime 9 times ago. When I betrayed my destiny, I came so close and I failed. My name Lókja, you know what that means? The threefold means of right knowledge. Perception, inference, and truth conveyed verbally. This is pramanya. Now, it's also the Sanskrit word for world. And if you've ever studied Buddhism or any kind of Tibetan Buddhism specifically, Loka or Lókja means world. It also means that space. It's a specific meaning related to cosmology. So Loka, in its oldest meaning in the Vedic, means space or open space. So my name refers to me as a divine communicator for this, as are you. There is a reason I'm coming to your beacon. This connection is unique for everyone. It's individual for everyone. This urlog is unique for all, but its goal of alignment is all the same. Mm-hmm. And I've seen my urlog. I know my urlog. If I stay aligned, I know what's going to happen. Okay, everything is happening at once now, and we're aware of it all. That's what's happened. How to align the world, align the timelines, and look toward that goal, that dream, that alignment that is within all of us, that source energy. Mm. And this is what the gods want us to do. This is why they're saying, you need to tell people. You need to do this. This is why they're saying, I want you to. They're excited. They are so fucking excited with what's going on. When I work and I practice my Seidr and I give things to others and I provide my craft and I teach, when I do this, when I work with Thor, he bangs his anvil and he laughs. And Odin just smiles. He's so excited, laughing, drinking his meat. He is so just proud of people like us who are here doing this, that we have to be really careful. Mm. We have to be so mindful. We have to keep practicing, keep devoting to this, and to live fearlessly. Now is the time for us to be drengskaper. When you really boil it down, with most people out there who are not remembering what needs to be remembered, why they're so afraid, they're afraid to die. They're afraid of death because they dualistically think that's it. They think, oh, there's life and there's death and there's just this weird thing in between. That's what people are trapped in. And those of them who see a little beyond that go, oh no, it's cyclical. But then they get trapped in that, going, oh, well, I just keep dying and living and dying and it never ends. And then you see beyond that, and you see that, within that lifetime, within every experience that you're having, it's all for the same fucking thing. And you can have no fear when you remember that. Yeah, dying's gonna suck. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna be shitty. I'm gonna feel so many things. We are the ones dying to ourselves every moment that we are living in alignment of our urlog. Mm-hmm. So when you die that way, which is worse, I would rather die to myself 1,000,000 times than die in a human death, never knowing who I was, never being alive. Mm. This is harder, but it is right. It is more real. And when you talk about the blue flame healing arts, I get a sense that more people are going to find their way to you. And we need to keep working. We need to keep creating this beacon. And I'm really excited, but I'm terrified. I'll be entirely honest with you. I'm terrified.
Good. It's a wonderful thing to be terrified and embrace.
Yeah, it is. It's
When you embrace that terror, igniting from within you, embraced that anxiety, and then from there wield this energy. And I was a vocalist, so Golder. This is getting into like divine language, and I have that gift and I use it. But the evocation, when you fucking evoke something coming from your core, the mirror reflecting what they themselves were not willing to embrace. So they run thinking that they're running from you, but really they're running from themselves.
Yeah.
When we are meant to be those blazing torches in the fucking darkness, you know, lighting the path, showing people how to navigate the waters. The astral, another term for it, is the ocean. It's the etheric realm. This is what we're still navigating and getting into the grid works of the lower astral. The very first fucking grid work is the black magic, because they will not make that connection back again to what is necessary and have that fucking death like you're talking about. They want to be the gods. They want to be the ones in the positions because they think that they have the fucking rights when they don't even have the fucking blood rights. Okay, and this is getting in the blood codes. This is getting into ancestors, right? And everything that we're fucking feeling and the true war, because people have their lives, you know, 9 to 5 or whatever the fuck people are doing. I can't fucking do that anymore. This is where the fuck I'm going to be. Doing what I do, and I do this for myself, right?
Absolutely. It's that sacrifice of Odin on Yggdrasil. You are sacrificing yourself to yourself. This is for you.
Yeah.
And that Lókja means to pull toward, to magnetize. This is the opposite of the use of chi, but it's still chi. It's like life force energy. You are not only able to project it, but you're able to call it to you. You can summon it to you. And by doing so, that prana, that life force that's on the same wavelength, is what's coming. Now, you mentioned something there about, you know, talking about the dark ones and limitations and things. And that's what Fenrir is. That vampiric consumption, that's Fenrir. And that's exemplified in all aspects of Loki's children. You have Fenrir, who consumes the entire fucking universe, which is him as well. Jormungandr, the serpent of limitations that encircles Midgardr, is the one who is eating its own tail. And before this, you have Mother Hela and Angrboda. Mother Hela is half corpse, half beautiful maiden. Mm-hmm. When I went to hell last week in Seidr, I saw both sides of Mother Hela for different reasons. And it was so powerful. But she represents that cyclic nature of death and rebirth, of the chance to perfect humanity. When you come to her when you die, she says, this is your shit. Feel free to work it out. And when you do, you come back, you know, and that's that gift that she has. It's that unconditional love, but at the same time, it is cyclical. It's that devouring of yourself to free yourself. Devouring all the shit that's not you and spitting it out and digesting it and getting rid of it. And then before that, you have Angrboda.
Everybody's going to have to eat their shit.
Yes. Yeah, that's what's coming.
And
it's already happening. It's already happening.
It's a tasty plate, isn't it? Oh, fuck, man.
Yeah.
And that is what people most fear, is facing the mirror. You know,
yes.
You're seeing the reflection of not only your potential, but your detriments at the same time.
That's why people look at greatness. They look at Odin. They look at that spirit of woe, that aura of self-awareness, and they get so fucking offended. And they go, fuck you. Don't you do that. That's offensive. I hate you. And they run from you, and they run from them all at the same time. So when you're talking about Galdr on the stage and releasing that woe and creating that projection of that woe in the time that you were meant to do it in, that's what occurred, and that's set you up for everything that's happening now.
Blue Flame, Healing Arts, and Occult Science. This is the initiation into what I'm going to be presenting in the future when I create this new magic order, bringing back to the original. And when I said the wisdom councils will manifest again, that's when you got really excited. So share with me what you were feeling when I said that. That was something else I wanted to ask you.
When I talk about the beacon, when I talk about that alignment of people like yourself, myself, many others coming together for the sake of truth and wisdom and understanding of what is currently being experienced on a microcosmic personal level and a macrocosmic universal level that is only being reflected both within and without. When people are coming together to understand these things, you're going to get the concepts of truth, which would be like tenets, guidelines, not necessarily rules, but just shared understandings, which in this case might even be the expression of magic, Völur, Lókja, Seidr. These are things you're passionate about, things that I've seen you say of the occult sciences that you're working with. So these things that you're working with are common bonds between people who are being drawn to this flame. They see that end, they know that end, they felt this call. Whether it's as simple as using Galdar to change their lives and not knowing how or why. Or feeling like you and I have this Seidr, this seething, this boiling, this sending out messages, sigils, beacons, becoming that light, the North Star of Tyr. When these people come together and form these ideas and come together in wisdom and truth, and only that is the agenda, the highest divinity of the source code, the reflection of Ginungaga. When people come together with that as the only cause for alignment, you will have potential for remaking the world. So when we say this beacon, this blue flame beacon that's coming, that is lit now, others are being lit simultaneously. Synchronism is happening all across the globe. People are remembering and coming together and thinking of these things. And when that all happens, you will see connections beyond impossible, what we believe to be impossible. They will come to you and you will come to them. We will stumble upon things that we have put there for ourselves to remember, that will align these councils together.
Mm-hmm.
Because no person, I love that you say that, thank you, no person is above the truth, nor man, nor woman, nor neutral being. It is all pieces of the puzzle. We are working with scrap metal here, putting it back together.
Yeah. And it's rough because there's more within us that we know than even what we have to work with.
Yes.
And then remake what was lost again. And you're doing that with your craft. I don't know anybody else out there that's doing what you're doing. And it's very unique right now because, well, I mean, people talk about the runes and stuff like that, but the way that you do your reading, the exact fucking same way that I'm doing mine. There's something going the fuck on right now with this conversation. And we're not having this conversation for no fucking reason. This is going to continue. And if you want to be a part of what's developing, you're fucking in. You're fucking in. And I'm not fucking around with it. And I'm not wasting time with individuals. I mean, I had a student today. I fucking snapped on him because he was falling into that victim mentality. And I said, motherfucker, you are a fucking warrior. And you got to channel from your core into your fucking radar and send out.
That fighting against that victim mentality, that tough love, that warriordom that's being inspired, that's coming up. I've never felt more empowered. That Manats rune of the southeast of Svartalfheimr, this is the rune of mastering your own human realization. This is the realizing your ultimate humanity, mastering your willpower, which is your emotions, mastering that ability to intend that reality. That is Manats. Mm-hmm. That is human. That is man. That is us. Mm-hmm. We are this.
Right. Yeah. And this is what I was telling him today. It's not so much the thought form that you're dealing with, it's the emotion. And you have to become a master of your emotion.
Yeah.
And this was my lesson in this life because of all the water in my main placements that I have to pour into the North Node. It's like Thunder Wizard, what he's talking about with the 8 gates. The 8 gates ritual. And I'm doing this in practice. It is boiling in my fucking blood and in my fucking bones right now. Okay. And there's still more that I need to learn to remember as we're sharing. Right. And this is how truth works. This is how truth is the master. Because we are both gleaning from one another. And that right there is how the councils manifest. And I come from dragon lines, man. I am a fucking dragon. Because the white dragon consciousness and genetics is that pure, raw, infallible consciousness that we are all trying to get back to, and is what I am connected to. And the blue flame is a way of making connection back to that. It's a step along the path. It's the initiation, because people need to go through this initiation process with the blue flame healing arts, so they can prepare themselves for when it's time. They will be fucking ready, and there will be nothing. There will be fucking nothing to stop us from manifesting.
This is your Uruk. This is your fucking destiny. This is your fate.
You're saying, and you're telling me, Emperor of the Occult, you honor me by saying that, because this is something I don't take lightly at all. Because again, truth is the fucking master. I want to stand with others side by side.
Absolutely. I need to jump in.
Go ahead, jump in.
Yes.
Jump the fuck in, please.
You are honoring yourself. I am a conduit, a vessel, a divine communicator. That is my name, Lókja. That is what I do. And now remember today in Skype when I mentioned to you the symbol of that dragon that I saw with many heads. Those heads had colors. Those heads had shades. They were worlds. And each of those worlds were in a circle, like the fucking round table. So blue flame healing arts would be Niflheim, which is north, which is here. Where I am from, the west, Vanaheim.
How interesting.
And this is this is what I'm just aghast at, is what I'm sending to you, what I'm being told, what I'm being channeled. This is that power of the Seidr and Galdr of our ancestors. This is the Volva who would take the staff and center that Seidr, and the men who the wizards were would use Galdr to translate what the fuck was going on. It's the same thing that's happening right now, but it's at a greater level, because here there is so much more wisdom and so much more understanding, both soul codes, blood codes, all coming up to the front, rising to the surface. It's all coming out now. We are lighting the fire in the center of the room. We are creating that hearth where others will come and we will share in truth. That is my Urlog, that is my soul, that is my Dharma. Like you, I have gone through beyond hell, and all of that is coming to the forefront of the work now. The amalgamation of the entire Hyogen and Nyomen, the thought and memory of the universe, of your microcosm, which is a reflection of the macrocosm. It's all coming now. And it's present in the convergence of the timelines. And this trial is not yet done. I still have many days left. But next year, I am so excited because I feel it, you know? Things are happening. I've been told to be patient, and I am, but this was brought to me, and I'm very thankful that it was. Thank you for being willing to talk. Thank you for arranging this.
Okay. But the power and wisdom that you have to unfold is very unique as far as the spectrum of the spiral goes. Right now, there's a fusion taking place on a higher level that is working to manifest here. And so it's the same with me in context.
You asked me how I feel your energy. On a spiritual energy-based level, how I feel you is like I have no other way to say this, but it's like fire of life force energy. It's that crackling electric expression of the waters of life of Niflheim. It has its own reverberance. It has its own energy, its own reverberation of atoms. And I feel that with you. And I don't know how to describe it. I'm really struggling.
Okay, so tell me what the significance of Niflheim in context is with the blue flame, because you wrote me some things. I want to hear more. Thunar, Odin, Tyr.
Okay. When you're talking about all these things, the water of Niflheim, and you want me to expound on that, I certainly can. This is the throat chakra. This is Niflheim. And this is the water element. And see how that's made up, the Tivats, Hagal, and Fehu? In the order, it would be Fehu, Hagal, Tivats. there is a unique power in there because the center line, the middle, is Hagal. Hagal is the primordial essence of energy. This is that power of transformational thought. And this is actually the essence of feminine energy. This is the essence of feminine power. The north is a feminine direction in a way. It's a home of feminine energy.
Mm-hmm.
This is the home of Seidr, the home of the beginnings of that spark. And there's a reason why the blue flame healing arts are blue, because they're not only hot, but they're burning that water. Mm. That Niflheimer water that is charged with energy. In the Hul mantra, the first syllable, Hu, is a Vedic seed sound for a node, apex, or vortex. This syllable details the grounding nature of the greatest gift of nature. The true gift of this energy is its potential and inherent essence of transformational energy, broken down further into the representative Northern European seed sounds or Elder Futhak runes. This is made of Hagal and Uruz. And Hagal is the primordial matrix of uncharged transformative energy. This is the power of potential made manifest. This is pure potential. This is water, vapor, ice, every expression of that liquid which carries memory. And water is the lifeblood of that universe, the 3D metaphysical universe we live in. No life can sustain without water. And that's carrying those codes. It's carrying memory. It's carrying Hyogen and Myonen. It's carrying everything that's ever experienced throughout the whole universe. That is the water of Niflheim, and it's charged, it's hot, it's so alive.
This is interesting because water from the well of Ord, fire water, and that's been the process of initiation for me in context of what you're talking about, making connection back to that. And that founder flame is one of the original gridworks of consciousness.
The blue flame healing arts will attract. That's where they'll find the beacon. That's what this is. We'll have people to teach them Galda, Lókja, Seidr, how to manifest the reality, but more importantly, become a master of their mind and their emotions at that initiate level, and then eventually work their way through it all.
Right. What is then your position in trajectory with what is unfolding?
With water in the north being a huge tie through the concept of the Disir, which is the aspect of the primordial goddess in all parts of mythology that has an unbroken connection to prehistory. To the west, where Freya is, Inguna Freyr, who my 30-day trial of fire right now is with Ing. Ing is his own god. Ing is cognate with the Vedic Agni, Lord of Flames, the master of that energy. And in the west, that's where you'll find it. In the west, it thrives because this is what wind does, is it creates that lightedness of it all. It's all up in the air. You're already the master of water. I am already the master of wind. We have to master the opposite elements, just like in the Hopi myth.
Yeah, right. Because the fire is burning away the impurities within the water.
Yeah.
It's boiling to the surface. It's seething. It's about knowing the difference and knowing how things work. Otherwise, what evil, I would say, represents is the inversion and the manipulation of what is.
Yeah.
We're getting back to what is, remembering how it works. You're in the west. You see me in the north. Okay.
Yes, and I completely agree with you. In fact, the inversion that you're talking about is all operating under the assumptive belief what is separating the divine masculine and divine feminine to the links which they're at now on the spectrum.
Here's the thing though with evil. This is what's really evil, is what's causing that separation.
Yes.
That's what's really evil.
There's an intention of that separation, yes.
The effect of the cause of the intention that was set forth by beings, individuals, whatever, the fucking aliens and you know, all this crazy shit. That's whatever the intention was to set forth to manipulate what is what evil is. And we don't fucking need that shit. Evil needs to be fucking eradicated. There's no balance of what we're talking about. Getting into Jormungandr, goddammit. The science of the Ouroboros. You have the ultimate good and the ultimate evil. And that's what that represents. It's a neutral symbol, but on the inverted principle, it's the ultimate evil devouring the ultimate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, being neutral, seeing things in alignment, it is the ultimate good forever devouring the ultimate evil, not allowing the devourment of life, but is the expansion of it and the evolution of it, getting beyond where things have been. But we have to become the masters of ourselves before we can take that fucking journey, because once you cross that fucking threshold, if your intention is not in alignment, knowledge isn't gonna fucking get us there. It's a step along the way.
You in your soul code, you are of that element. You are of the water. So we must master the opposites. You are becoming the fire, the blue flame, the union of Niflheimer and Muspelheimer. The union of the water and the fire. You're becoming that blue flame beacon. Now, I am working through currently mastering a lot of chi and prana based practices, which is ether, which is, the East. I'm mastering that will, that power. I perform, various martial arts. I'm learning Glima, and I'm doing all these things. And yet for me, it is easy to do all these things that are found in the West. It is easy for me to do what Freya, my patron goddess of the Völur, is helping me to do for other people. It's easy for me to do art, to craft, to be creative, to show dramatic arts, to be poetic, because that's my natural element. But I have to learn the opposite. I have to learn ether. That's where I will find my most power. As you become the beacon, so I will become, the warrior, the Skjaldmeyr. In my introduction that I use, I say Skjaldmeyr af Folkvenger, because that's where I'm going. To know about what we must do is to embrace that aspect of our Urlok and our Dharma and live Drenger. Now is the time to give everything up that does not serve you. Now is the time to align yourself without fear, to throw away and to cast out what doesn't work. Purify yourself like an axe or sword being smelted in steel, remove the impurities, and sharpen your blade. That's where we're at now. Sleep well. Thank you. It's been a privilege to be here, and I'm very, very excited to see what comes in the future with the alignment of the three major timelines reaching their highest potential. So thank you.
Fucking A. We'll talk soon. Okay. Bye. Well, if anyone wants to get a hold of me, send me an email at blackearthproductions@hotmail.com. Check out the website at blackearthproductions.com. Check out the services page, Blue Flame Healing Arts and Occult Science. The beacons are fucking lighting up. That's us in reflection. We're here to remind you. I hope to hear from you guys soon.
fading.